All right, we're live. Happy Thanksgiving. Tooth number 18 today. So we're going to designate our material. And actually, I'm excited because I get to use our very new material, Sercon 4D. So they just released this at DS World this year, and I just got my shipping in this week. It's nicer because it's stronger. So it's rated down to 500 microns instead of 600, which really just means I don't have to take as much tooth structure as we normally do. But we'll always start by trimming our models. So the scans are really accurate and they're great, but a lot of times they get data that we just don't need. So if we've got your cheek in the way, sometimes that can be confusing for the computer. So get rid of it. Probably don't need to get rid of this, but I'll do it anyway. Go. And then there's our pre-op. So this is the reason we're here. This tooth broke. I'm not sure if that's a Strawman or not. We'll have to figure out what kind of implant that is. We might be able to scan it today after I deliver the crown, but it'll just depend if we can find a scan post that'll fit. Access should find out. Jawline is just this blue dot right in the middle. Draw a margin. So put a little retentive groove on the back here because you don't have a ton of height on this tooth, which is fine because we're going to bond it in anyways. So bonding allows chemical adhesion to keep your tooth or keep your crown on your tooth. Back in the day, they used to lute it, just like a fancy way of saying they would glue it on, but they would come off and they weren't on super securely. So now when I bond it, your tooth and my crown become one piece. So it shouldn't come off. But I went ahead and put that little retentive groove on the back, almost like a key slot to help mechanically keep it in also. So we're just checking our margin. Sure. So that's good. Let's fix this just a little bit. Okay, margin looks good. Insertion axis. So I'm coming straight down on this tooth. Check for blockout. Let's change that a little bit. Okay, that I like. So that's the path of insertion for your crown. That looks great. For our spacer, this is the distance between your tooth and my crown. So you'll see as I slide that, you can see how that's getting bigger and smaller. Mm-hmm. So we like 120 microns because that's the distance for bonding. Looks like the minimal thickness on this Sercon 4D is factory default 700. That's fine. I'm just going to leave it at the factory setting. But we may come back and play with that. Let's get a little proposal. So AI does its thing. It gives us what it wants your tooth to look like. Now we can start adjusting it. I'm just going to go in straight for the smooth tool. Normally I would put the opposing arch on and adjust through the opposing arch, but in your case, I don't want there to be a ton of high anatomy because your bite slides around so much. So we're going to smooth our contacts. Things we want to do. Let's take that cusp down. That down some of the back. So we're almost like simulating what happens if you clench and grind. We're smoothing it down so it's got less points. Okay, so I don't care. Doesn't bother me. That's what your old tooth looked like. So this is the part where we've got to decide, do we want to give you more tooth structure or do we want to make it match what it was? A part of me wants to give you more tooth, but I don't know if I want to give you that much. I think we'll maybe meet ourselves in the middle where we'll take that down a touch. And I'm okay with it having a little more anatomy than it did, but I still want you to be able to slide. Let's turn the strength up. Otherwise, you'll be sliding around and banging into just my crown and it won't feel right. Okay. So it's a little taller than it was, but worst case scenario, if it's uncomfortable, I'll just adjust it after I put it in. But I do want you to go away from flat and have a little in it. So that's what we're going to do. And maybe we'll have to adjust it. We'll see. So do we want to make any other changes? I don't think so. But we'll check our articulator. So the articulator shows us what happens when your jaw slides around. This runs a little algorithm. Computing. Exit, new tool, functionally generated path appears. There we go. So now we can see when you slide around, it looks like you might interfere some. So we're going to end up taking a little more. And that's okay. Let's get rid of this. I'm not gonna, let's look at our opposing model here. What is, oh, I see. It's taking that piece of gum tissue and sliding it around and saying, hey, you've got an issue, but we know that's not actually a thing. So that part we're okay with. Let's just check the back of this. I might make this a little, let's put this on. Draw a little bit, come forward there. Here. Okay. That. Again. That looks okay. This. That looks okay. Just remember what thickness is on. We're good. Now the last thing we could look at is our implant here. So I didn't scan the backside of that tooth. That's why it looks like that. I just don't need it in this scan. But the idea is we want to be able to take our implant restoration and drop it straight down. So I'm okay with that. That's good to me. So that should work. Any questions? No? Kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it's neat.
Okay. Happy Thanksgiving. Eat lots of turkey.
Yeah.
See you later.